right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Husker Heat. Figured we'd just start you off with a picture of Hannah Coorer chasing a ball with the wind before robbing Rutgers of a home run. And what we have this week is a northern road trip. They'll come back in between, but they are going to Madison, Wisconsin, and then up to Minnesota. I'll be going up to Minnesota as well and staying with my rotten son, Drew, who you might have caught on an episode of the Husker Happy Hour football show this last fall. And as always, here's Mylie with us. Everybody be nice to Mylie. We're kind of talking about it. This is a girl who's just basically exhausted a lot lately, and I'm so happy she doesn't try to beg out of the show. But yeah, we've talked about she's getting married here in August. And there's a lot to do before that if you're the bride. How much does Connor everything? How much does Connor chip
in? He gives ideas.
So does he give concepts of ideas or actual ideas?
Yeah, concepts. He's gonna get mad at me.
That's all right. The show hasn't really gotten rolling until we've poked fun at Connor, who's usually behind the camera.
It's okay. He found the house that we live in now, so
it's a very nice house.
He did something.
I will give it that. And if you're looking down in Mylie's lap there, I have a grandpuppy. Aw. Tell us a little about the new addition to the family there.
His name is Tatum, and his namesake is playing right now, Jason Tatum.
And what kind of dog is he? It was funny because I was at did Easter with my sister, her boyfriend, and my mother, and they were asking me just ridiculous questions like, what breed is it? And I'm like, I don't know. I was just playing with little bastard nonstop. I didn't take time to ask about his lineage and all that kind of thing. So what kind of dog is Tatum?
We don't really know because he's a rescue, and he was just dumped in Oklahoma.
Okay, so he's just kind of a mixed breed of some sort.
They said maybe a collie, but
he's a short hair too.
He's not really looking like a collie because collies have like thick, lots of hair.
They're definitely fluffier. My grandparents on my mother's side had collies, and one of them was named, if you can believe it or not, Lassie. But they were very super friendly dogs. It was nice having big dogs around their cabin out there a few mile down the dirt road. But yeah, Tatum's playful. Go ahead.
Connor's parents were thinking maybe some beagle in him.
That's what I was wondering, because he's got kind of that short beagle hair, and he's definitely got that beagle personality.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's
crazy. Yeah, I stopped over to visit after the doubleheader Saturday. She basically texted me like that, this picture of the little guy right before the first game started. And we wore him out. We wore him out good. And I basically just said, hey, I'm going to be over right after I'm done writing. And so
he was.
He had his chew toy, which then I threw my coat on the floor, and he jumped in the coat, snuggled it in a little, sniffed it, and then started chewing it. And then we found, he's definitely teething. I have kind of skinny wrists, and he was just taking my whole wrist in his mouth and just nom.
He's been eating my feet.
He started going for my shoestrings. All of a sudden, I feel a tug.
He loves
I feel like
shoes.
Chewing, and I look down, and then there's a tug, and my shoes are untied, and he's like trying to take the shoe off my foot just by pulling on the string. And so it's like, no, give me that. And I tie it back, and then I hear Mylie, stop that. And he's like eating the ottoman. It's like, that's leather, don't eat that. But
any shoe, slipper, sandal, toe, he's biting it.
Let me warn you right away. Like, I would give my dog, I finally gave up and would give my last dog the tube from toilet paper or paper towels, because he was just going cardboard. He chewed the covers on God knows how many books until I was realizing I've got to have all my hardcover books out of reach.
Who is that, Chipper?
No, that was Smoltzy. Smoltzy just loved to gnaw on
Smoltzy's a she, or was a she.
Yeah. But I just said small tune. Anyway, yeah,
You
she
said
just
he.
loved to gnaw on hardcovers and just chewed those things to death. And didn't really go for she did. I tell you what, she never went for like sneakers, but I had one pair of dress shoes, and she did chew the toes off both of those. So yeah, you'll learn. It'll
Was that
cost
when
you.
she was younger?
Yeah, and older.
Oh,
So I was like,
Jesus.
the books and like I always put the dress shoes out of reach after that, but I'd forget with the books occasionally and nom 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 nom. So anyway,
And movie like
the
boxes.
DVD cases.
Yeah, she chew those too.
Yep, yep. So at least you know what to look for. All right, so
Ugh.
let's see. One thing I wanted to recommend. I just finished season 2 of Paradise on Hulu, and that's one of those things where you want to be careful telling anyone about what it's about because you don't want to give too much away. But let's just say it's one of those like there's been an extinction level event on Earth, but everyone who's left is living in this really nice place, and the president, the Secret Service, like all the leadership they could find is down there. And then it just kind of takes off from there. And the season 1 was really good. I just finished season 2, which did a lot of backstories, which I'm like, okay, I love backstories, but not a bunch of different episodes about backstories, which they kind of did, but they were great. It was a fantastic season. It tied everything up and it set things up for next season. So if you're looking for something, Paradise on Hulu. James Marsden is in it. Sterling K. Brown, who was the King's brother in the flashback at the beginning of Black Panther, and he produces it and stars in it, and plenty of other people. You'll run into plenty of other people. Shailene Woodley comes on in season 2. But anyway, yeah, give it a shot. You should enjoy it. And let's talk a little bit of softball. Sweep of Rutgers last weekend. Good job. They ruled them in the first game 8-0, and everybody figured, all right, it's going to be 3 of those. And then the second game, wait a minute, now they got the winning run at the plate in the 7th inning, and they hang on. Jordy comes in, shuts it down. They win 5-3, and then in the third game,
Sorry.
What?
Sorry.
Did you just sneeze?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Third game, Rutgers comes out, jumps on them for 2. Nebraska gets one of their typical big innings, bottom of the first. They score 7 and take a 7-2 lead, but here comes Rutgers, 7-3, 7-4, 8-4, 8-5, and then they bring in Jordy to pitch the last 3 innings, and she pitches 3 perfect innings, 3 innings of 3 up, 3 down, and strikes out 6 of the 9 batters she faces. And like she's done, I'm going to go look and see what the streak on this is she just almost always strikes out the final batter when she has, here's the chance to win the game, the last out when she's pitching, almost always a strikeout. I asked Rhonda about it last weekend against UCLA. She goes, well, you'd have to ask her. And I was going to ask her after the third game, but then she was out, they were doing an Easter egg hunt with the kids after the game, and she loves to sign autograph for the kids. And we got Natalia Hill in, which was wonderful. And Natalia made it yet another diving catch in the top of the 7th. The first out was just sinking, like smoke sinking liner to left field, and she just takes 3 steps, lays out, no problem. I think she's got about 4 of those this year. She's stolen a home run. So I asked to interview her just because of that, because I was like, okay, she just plays defense most of the time, and they will DP for her, and she'll come in, almost always make a fantastic catch at some point. And I just wanted to talk to her, kind of the body of work, has defense always been your thing? And she said, yeah, even, high school and younger, she'd always taken pride in that. And I couldn't resist. I asked her, now they DP for you now. Are they hiding? Have you got some hitting skills we just don't get to see? And she busts out laughing, goes, oh yeah, everybody that doesn't hit knows they can hit. And so she was fun. I'm glad we asked to talk with her. But then I was told, well, Jordy will probably be another 10 minutes. And I'm like, it's been a long weekend, man. I know she loves to sign those autographs, and I just want to get going. And I'm sure she'll have another good game, and we'll have a chance to talk to her. But anyway, yeah. So she got, as a result of that last outing Saturday, she got 2 wins and a save this weekend. She got the win on Friday when she pitched the 5-inning shutout. She got the save in the 7th. Here's Alexis Jensen, who's just had a monster game, and then she gives up a hit and a homer, and 5-1 became 5-3, and they just got Jordy in to shut the door. And I think they got a hit and a walk off of her maybe, but she got him out of it. Snore. And so they went. She gets a save there, and then in the 3rd game, Hannah Camenzind starts, has a rough first inning, so they bring in Alexis to pitch 3 innings, and she gives up a couple runs. And then they bring in Jordy to pitch the final 3, and then we told you what she did, and because she was the most effective, she got credit for that win. So she gets 2 wins, a save, 9 scoreless innings. Let's see how many she struck out in those 9 innings. She struck out 17 and walked 1. Did not give up a run. Gave up only 5 hits in the 9 innings. So quite the performance. And funny little sidebar on that one. Like Dr. Abby something, you might see her on Twitter, and Nate Rohr, who does the PA for football, for the Chiefs too, and then play-by-play for the Huskers. We got to talking about, Abby brought up, and I had a chance to meet her at Purdue last year for the Big Ten championships. Very, very nice lady. And she was like, this is great against Rutgers, but why didn't Jordy, get any player of the weeks, when they beat UCLA, for Christ's sake? And so I had already pointed this out. I may have brought it up in an article or at least in some tweets already. And I said, near as I can tell, whoever in the Big Ten office is handing out that Player of the Week award, or those Player of the Week award, they do a Pitcher of the Week, Player of the Week, and a Freshman of the Week. They are just looking at the straight stats and giving zero consideration to who these games are against. And I said, this is what I see. I responded. I said, this is what I see happening. Nate Rohr jumped in, said same thing. It just looks like they're looking at stats and not any strength of your opponent or anything like that. And we were kind of laughing, going, yeah, Maryland has probably been responsible for a lot of Player of the Weeks. Like when Hannah Camenzind got it as like National Pitcher of the Week, Big Ten Pitcher of the Week, she was pitching against like Cal, Seattle, or something like Hawaii on that trip. Not very good teams, and just throwing shutout innings. Not to lessen what she did in any way, but let's be fair, she wasn't doing it against Texas or Tennessee. But there she is getting like national acclaim. And yeah, they were kind of like, yeah, that surely appears to be what's going on. And so you had, I think, Jordy, who got Player of the Week, rang it up on Rutgers, who's like 80 something in RPI, 80 something out of 300 teams. And then whoever is the same person got Pitcher of the Week, or Freshman of the Week and Player of the Week. And she did it against Iowa, who's in the bottom third of the standings. And I remember looking last week going, everybody who got a Player or a Pitcher of the Week or whatever was doing it against a team that's not up in the standings at all. So apparently your chance to get hardware is when you play like a Maryland or a Michigan State or whoever. And if it sounds like I'm picking on them, well, win games and don't be last. And then you won't be called out for being last. So anyway, but Jordy was Pitcher of the Week, and, well-deserved, but she might have actually done more, both her and Alexis might have actually been more effective and pitched better, giving up, 4 runs here, 6 runs there, to a UCLA team averaging 12 runs a game. I think that was a more effective performance. So anyway, hop off my pulpit on that. What do you think? Mylie?
Yeah. I don't understand how they do Players of the Week. I mean, they really should take into account who they're playing, because if you're playing a crappier team, yeah, your stats are gonna be better because you're playing a crappier team. So
And if you're fit, especially with the hitters too. I mean, Well, the hitters and the pitchers. I guess I
I
should
feel
just
like
lump it. Go ahead.
every sport, every conference, every league, they just do that kind of thing all the
Yeah,
time.
and I see it, and I think I went off a little on the polls, and I think I was responding to people on Twitter like, don't worry about that they're number 8 within FCA, because it just looks like they're looking at what conference you're in and just your straight up record. So now that we've actually just lost just one game in our last like 15 or 20 or something like that, now our record's starting to look like the other records. So they've moved us up gradually from 10th to 7th, even though
I mean,
we're not playing as good at teams.
it was the same thing with Husker volleyball. A lot of those girls got snubbed out of the weekly awards because the like Nebraska volleyball is just their offense was so spread out that no one had stats that like popped off the page. And
Mm-hmm.
all they did like when they're picking those weekly awards, they're picking the girls whose stats pop off the page, which cool, yeah, the stats look good, but if you're playing a team that sucks and you're getting, over 20 kills a game, it doesn't make sense.
Well, and that's a great point about volleyball, actually, because they didn't just lean on one player. They kind of
Yeah.
spread it out. If one player gets hot, they'll start going to her, but you're not just going to see that same name like pop off the page. And it feels like whenever they get in trouble, like say at Texas A&M, it always seems to me, because the same thing happened with Texas, is that it's Harper Murray who steps up and just starts getting all the kills at that. Like
Yeah.
she has that, like, I'm flipping it to it, we're in trouble, and she more than anyone has that ability to kind of turn things over to the next level. Oh, and real quick before we fully dive into softball here, national championship night. Did you see much like abuse being heaped at her because she was wearing her Michigan stuff?
I was about to say something about that.
Yeah,
I
because
was
and
about to
basically,
say,
well, let me just real quick set it up. If you
okay.
guys didn't see it, she's in her Michigan stuff. She did a post. Congrats, Michigan, on a national championship. And, because she grew up in Ann Arbor. Her sister plays for Michigan. Her dad was a running back for Michigan. And that's like me with Georgia, basically. Nebraska's my team, but brother, Georgia's my 1A. That's where my dad went. My uncle went. I grew up cheering for them before we landed in Nebraska. And, and then I became a Husker or whatever. But that's so for me, I totally get it, but I didn't see anything, but I judged from some other remarks going, hey, lay off of her. She grew up there. That was her team. She's a Husker, but she can be a Husker and be happy for them,
I saw a lot of people dragging her for wearing it.
Yeah.
And all I
It's
want to
like,
say is go F
yeah.
yourself because yesterday was the day her dad passed away, like I
Oh,
think
geez.
15 years ago.
I
And
didn't know
people are
that.
dragging her online for celebrating Michigan's win. It's like
So,
she grew up there, her dad played there, her sister played there. Shut up. Just let her celebrate that win. Like
yeah, it's a family, man.
that was her school. That will always be her school. But Nebraska is her school as well. Someone put something like you're cheering for a team that's in the same conference that you play. How dare you? Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, we're eliminated. It's okay. All right, let's move on a little. Let's see. So Nebraska goes to 30-6 overall. They're 11-1, and I've got the standings here. They're 11-1. They're right behind Washington in the standings. Washington, I think they played Stanford and then another like Northwest smaller college team. So they didn't. So now we're caught up in number of games played. And for people worried about the chase there, all I'll tell you is this. Washington's a very good team. They've moved up in the rankings some, but they still have UCLA and Oregon left. Those three teams are going to that's one thing is those three teams are going to play each other every season. They're always going to have a series just because they're all on the West Coast, and that's the least we can do. So if they all stay really good at softball, that's going to be a little advantage for their RPI. I mean, I suggested facetiously, hey, let's we'd be happy to just take a 3-week road trip every season, just stay on the coast, take Zoom classes, and just do play those three teams every year. It'd just be worth it just for the boost in a weak conference schedule like we've got this year. So but again, I still like our chances to win the conference. We're actually up pop that up there real quick. We're actually up 2 games on UCLA since we've got the head-to-head on them. I'm not sure how the head-to-head with Washington will play. I doubt it'll count. We played them in the first weekend of the year, and we split. But I'm not sure that will even count because I think it has to be head-to-head in conference games, and those don't count as conference games. But I still like our chances to win the conference. We're at Wisconsin. It's the road trip. We're at Wisconsin this weekend. We're at Minnesota next weekend. We come back and play Iowa, and that's going to be senior day, and then the final series will be at Penn State, and then the Big Ten tournament at, for whatever reason, Maryland.
Season's almost over.
Yeah, two times in 3 seasons that the host of the tournament doesn't have a team good enough to be in it. Iowa finished dead last 2 years ago and hosted the tournament. And Maryland is in the process. Maryland is fighting it out with a couple other teams for last place this year. They finished last year. They have one of those four-field complexes instead of an actual stadium for their team. I don't know how they got the tournament without actually just having a standalone stadium. But anyway, it's where we are. And if you ever want to hear more thoughts on that, just watch a Husker or listen to a Husker game. Nate Rohr loves to talk about it in that fantastic radio voice of his. What a travesty this all is, and I don't get it, and things like that. So anyway, in the rankings, we actually dropped one in ESPN USA Softball, but just back to number 5. We remained at number 5 in D1 Softball and on 3 Softball America. And then, like I said, in NFCA USA Today, we moved up 1 to number 7. Now, RPI has kind of been fun this week. I'm over freaking out on RPI right now because I'm just worried about possible big drops with the lack of competition we're playing down the road. So we are number 4 right now. We were number 2 after we beat UCLA. We moved up number 2. We played Creighton Tuesday night. They're doing a really good job of updating it daily and setting it up so you can sort it by the team names this year. So instead of going through 300 teams to try and find the team you're looking for. So it's much more user-friendly this year on the NCAA website. So anyway, moved up to 2 after UCLA. Beat Creighton 8-2. Creighton number 151 in RPI. Dropped to 5th. Dropped 3 spots just for playing a team as bad as Creighton. But then sat around, the other teams played midweek games, and we moved back up to number 4. So we are number 4 going into the series with Wisconsin. Now, let's see. And here's a wild thing with RPI versus rankings. So after this weekend, Texas Tech must have finally played a good team, and they are now number 1 in 3 of the 4 rankings and number 2 in the other, and they are number 11 in RPI. Because they didn't exactly dive into a competitive preseason schedule, I think.
Well, yeah, and they bitched out of that Florida State game too.
That didn't help. Yeah, and that took a game that could have helped them off the table. And so right now in RPI, we've got number 1 is Alabama, number 2 is Texas, and number 3 is that Arkansas? Maybe. I just kind of diddled off at the end. It's AR. I can't think of any ARs that are up near number 3 besides Arkansas. And I'm guessing maybe Tennessee, or I think Florida's 4, and then Tennessee's back at number 6 now.
I thought we were 4.
Huh?
I thought we were 4.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I said 3, then we were 4, and then I think Florida's 5.
Oh, I thought you said, okay.
I think, or Tennessee's 5 and Florida's 6. I know I didn't say that the first time. But anyway, so there's your consensus number 1 team, though, that's number 11. And so let's say if the season ended today, that would be a really interesting thing because here's the power rankings they're looking at, but they're also going to look at rankings. And Texas Tech would be sliding in. I guarantee it, Texas Tech would be sliding in with a top 3 or 4 as a top 3 or 4 pick, and somebody who's number 8 in the RPI would be getting pushed back. Well, anyway, here's a question, too, I have. Let's go ahead and talk about Wisconsin a little bit. They're currently 37th in RPI, and they don't exactly – they're 21-12, so good record. They're 7-5 in a 4-way tie for 5th in the Big Ten, but they haven't beaten a ranked team. They've only played 6 ranked teams, and they've lost every one of them. They lost to Grand Canyon twice by a run, who's number 22. They got run rule. They got pounded 15-7 by number 23 Arizona State, and they got swept by UCLA and swept hard 14-5, 8-0, and 16-9.
Jesus.
And yeah, and so they haven't beaten a ranked team. And then they're 7-5. Okay, first three of those wins, they swept Maryland. Way to go!
Kitty claps.
You won batting practice. Congratulations. And then they took 2 out of 3 from Purdue, who can be all right. They made that run to the finals last year in the Big Ten tournament. And then they won 2 out of 3. Against Penn State. And Penn State started off like they were challenging to be ranked, but now not much. Yes, that's a rough life you lead there, Tatum, my guy. Then they won 2 out of 3 against Penn State. So Purdue and Penn State are decent wins, but all the other wins are schools that you literally, I saw 2 or 3 I'd never heard of. So it's not like they played a super challenging preseason. But my opinion on that, if they're 37th, then more power to them. That'll actually give us a boost if we can sweep them, and we should. They have a very good hitting team. They will, as Rhonda put it, battle away and score runs. And Rhonda said that after that 5-3 game. She's going, go back and look. These guys, she says they battle back. Rutgers is just one of these teams that isn't the best team on the field, but they fight. You can't put them away. It's tough. Holy cow! I was about to start timing that one. That was a hell of a yawn.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. So anyway, and she told me that on Saturday. So then here comes Sunday's game, and what do we do? We get up 7-2, and they just keep chipping away and staying in range. Until Jordy came in and shut the door. And so after the game, I said, hey, yesterday you told me this team likes to battle back, and we saw it again. And she's like, yes, you remembered. And she's like, and they do. And you see it, and they do it against good teams, and you can't let up on them. You have to put them away. And so I get the feeling this might be Wisconsin. They hit 328 as a team. That's 1 point higher than us, even though they haven't played the competition.
Sorry.
That's okay. I believe me, guys. Cut her a break. It's fine. We are cutting Mylie slack. She's earned these yawns. But they don't really have much power. Only 32 home runs. We've got twice as many. They don't steal as much, but they hit really well. And the leader of that is someone, Emily. I like this last name. I'm gonna guess on the pronunciation. Emily Bojan. It's just Bojan.
It's like BoJack Horseman.
That's what the first thing I thought. And she is hitting She's hitting 381 with a 516 on base percentage. So she hits for a very good average, and she's also, but she's going to make you throw her strikes. She's walked 25 times, thus the ridiculous on base percentage. So look for her. Now the downside is that team's pitching. Once again, we're facing a team without great pitching. Their staff ERA is 4.69. If you're a baseball fan, like the ERA is done for 7 innings in softball. If you're thinking baseball, it's an ERA around 7. It's not great. They 1.63 ratio. They allow a lot of runners, and then they don't strike. They don't have a walk strikeout ratio of 2 to 1 or better. It's under that. At least they don't walk more than they strike out. That's when I know we're about to feast on pitching, is when these guys are struggling to throw strikes and having to throw our heavy bats, some pretty meaty pitches at times. But anyway, they've got 2 pitchers who will carry, do most of their innings. Shelby Jacobson and Barrett Herr. And I was just wondering for all you. What's that?
So what the hell?
It's Herr, but I was wondering for older baseball fans out there if former Cardinals second baseman, if she was related to Tommy Herr, but I checked that's not a parent, maybe a grandparent. But they're almost identical in a lot of what they do. Jacobson's 9-4, Herr's 9-5. Jacobson's ERA is 3.63 and Herr's is 4.61. So Herr gives up more hits. She's given up 89 hits in 71 innings, but she throws Strikes. She has 54 strikeouts and only 19 walks, which is an excellent ratio. But when she gets them in the zone, people jump on them. And then Jacobson has only given up 72 hits in 81 innings, strike out 59, but walk 47. But they allow about the same number of batters. I think their ratios are 1.47 and 1.51 runners per inning. So different pitchers putting the same number of runners on base, but you can hit a few more out of the park on Barrett her, I think, and I bet we do, barring the wind blowing in. Because hey, Upper Midwest, you never know what you're getting. There was a guy today on Twitter, a Husker fan. He said the wife talked him into, I think, a baseball trip up to Michigan State, and one game got canceled, and it was cold and kind of crappy. And one respondent claimed, "Oh, you should have left her there, buddy. That's a terrible idea." I'm like, well, I don't think it comes to that, but yeah, if you head north for softball or baseball in the Big Ten, anything can happen weather-wise because that conference schedule is over by the time May rolls around. Anyway, and I got a report. If you saw Jessie Farrell, she played one game, but didn't hit. Then sat out the next. Then started the third game. They pinch hit for her, and then they brought her back to try and get some insurance runs later. She rolled her ankle Tuesday night against Creighton. Just one of those freak things, jumping out to chase a passed ball. And Rhonda says, that's all it is. It's a rolled ankle. They got it taped up, and it's just up to her, trying to muscle through it, because they want her back there at least catching, because she does just such a great job with the pitchers. Let's see, any other news? Oh, can't believe it. Rhonda got her 1,200th win on Sunday, the final game to get the sweep. There's her high-fiving Jordy. That was a nice picture, whoever took that. I really like that. I imagine they're down there on one knee pointing up. But, yeah, 1,200th victory. And it's one of those things. I tweeted this out, too. She, tries to brush it off. Oh, I did. It's like, I just got told I hit win number 1,200. And I can see that because she's one of those that's just dialed in to win. I don't care what she says. These victories, milestones like that are important. It's a good thing to do. It's a nice milestone. And I guess I'll say this about her: for someone who's hitting 1,200 win milestones, she just seems to have more energy each year. If people are wondering, well, I think she's a couple years older than me. I think she was a senior down there when I was a freshman in 82, 83.
Old,
but she ain't old, man. She is just full of energy. You can sense it about her. You can sense it from the players, the way they respond to her. She's got a good thing going on down there, and she's had it going. It's not just suddenly happening because they've got the fortune smiled on them, and they've got one of the best teams she's had in probably 10, 15 years. Hey, wake up, son! I'm talking. But basically, congratulations to Rhonda. Fantastic achievement. I don't see her going anywhere anytime soon. Tell you what, we've got a comment. Nebraska Strong, and he's one of our regular watchers. Have a question here. Mylie, what are the odds that Jordy Frahm wins D1 Collegiate Player of the Year? And she did win one or two of those last year. I know she got one, at least one, and Najiri Kennedy got one. So what do you think?
I think she'll be up there again, but yeah, then Najiri Kennedy and then Carlin Pickens. She'll be in the bat. She'll be in the talk again.
It depends too if an organization is doing a player award and a pitcher award, or if they're just doing an all-encompassing one. Just MVP as opposed to MVP and Cy Young are kind of kept separate in baseball. Let's see that actually. And thanks for the question, Nebraska Strong. Appreciate it. Anybody else out there, feel free to it just frustrates me because when we've gotten the movie pod and the football pod going, we got a group that just loves to come in, comment, and love to go through those and hear from you. And even if you don't really have any statement you want to make or a question, just jump in and give us a Go Big Red. We appreciate those. Go Big Reds are worth a lot around here. But let's see.
I have to
What's
I
that?
have to throw in there that volleyball plays on Saturday. They play Iowa State at
Oh,
1 o'clock in Sioux Falls.
yep. How much of those? Yeah, did you happen to check how much those tickets are going for?
No, but they sold out like right away because Bergen is from Sioux Falls.
Yep.
So
And then for the one they're doing out in Chadron, they had like the week the tickets went on sale, and you just had to go buy it. It was like old days. I was
in
like
person.
feeling like I was watching the
They-
Springsteen line.
They do that every year when they do the small town game. They make it you have to be in person to buy tickets just so the people that live there get them first rather
Right.
than
Well,
yeah.
and they were doing them this time at the Don Beebe Stadium ticket office. For those of you who don't remember, Don Beebe played for Chadron State. Now he's up. Hey, no yawning. She can yawn, not you, mister. You got an easy life. I love berating puppies because they just don't care. But for those of you who don't remember, Don Beebe played at Chadron State in college, and then was actually he played on those Buffalo Bills teams that lost like 4 Super Bowls. But I believe it was in one of those Super Bowls. I think Leon Lett had picked up a fumble, and Don Beebe knocked the fumble loose and picked it up and ran it back. So he ran that fumble back for a touchdown in the Super Bowl, I believe. If I'm wrong on that, feel free to tell me, because that was in the early 90s. But anyway, yeah, what I was going to say was there were people. The tickets went on sale Thursday, and there were 3 or 4 people out there in their lawn chairs on Tuesday in line for volleyball exhibition tickets. These are rock stars, ladies and gentlemen. They might not have won the title, but this is still insane. And this happened right after the week after the first round of the NCAA tournament, when Husker fans went down and took over Oklahoma City. So I was like, this isn't just basketball, man. This is just Husker fans. And they will travel. So anyway, what I wanted to show you real quick is, let's see, get my picture up. Here, I always talk about the stats for the teams that we're going to play. And let's talk about just for a couple of minutes. I want to point out a few things here. Look up at top of the hitting list there, and there you'll see Jordy Frahm leading the team. Well, of a regular player. No offense, Alina Felix, who's 3 for 6 when she gets into hit. Might deserve another chance or two, because she did that. I think she had two homers last year in about 10 at bats. But Jordy's hitting 445. Her on-base percentage, and then if you think that Emily Bojans is insane, Jordy's on-base is 560. And she's walked 22 times, but more impressively, she's been drilled 8 times. So and that counts in your on-base as well. And softball, since, in softball, you're allowed to sit there and take it. You don't have to try and get out of the way. So that's a special kind of toughness. And she's got 14 homers, 34 RBIs. Her slugging is an ungodly 927. The OPS, which is on-base percentage plus slugging, if it's up near 1, you're a really good hitter. And her slugging alone is 927. Her combined OPS, do the little math here, is 1.487, which is nuts. I mean, that's up in Megan. Gosh, it's only been 2 weeks, and I forgot her last name for UCLA. Do you remember who that is, Mylie? Taylor?
Is that the basketball player?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, and she went to they're playing, wherever they were playing, she flew out to watch them in the finals or whatever.
Yeah, my question is, why would you leave that team?
Well, because you're the best freaking player on your softball team. I don't think that's the case on the basketball team.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, she's the one who's hit 23 homers for UCLA.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, but anyway.
Oh.
And then you got Hannah Kamenson, who just keeps sailing along. And tell you what, let me take this down for a sec. If you Miley's covering it up, but see the building on the right there in right field. If you haven't been to a game, up near the top of that building is a big red inn protected by a net. Hannah smacked a home run off that inn, hit a home run off that big red inn at the top of the Gordon building, and just had people going, holy cow. After the game, I asked her, is that about, all the time you've been playing softball, is that about the hardest ball you ever hit? And she just started laughing. She goes, yeah, that's up there. She just hit that. Let's put it this way. The one Jensen hit over that paddock against UCLA, I think this one was farther than that. So it was a blast. But Hannah's just that she's the 3-hitter. She owns that spot, hitting 376. Alexis Jensen, she's a little bit of a slump. She was like 1 for 8 UCLA weekend, 2 for 9 this weekend, but still managed to knock in a run. But with all that, she's still hitting 347 as a freshman. Gives you an idea, how well she's doing. Casey Hoffman had a really good weekend, going 6 for 14, and brought her average up to 333. And there's our Caitlin Canada. It's like, I don't know what more she has to do to get a shot at DPing. She's hitting 3. She's 3 for 9 with a double and 2 homers. Like every hit, and when I tell you, those 6 outs, at least 4 of those are line shots. She has just hit every pitch hard, and we hope that she can find her way back in the lineup. We talked about her earlier. I won't drag you back through all that, but she's one of our favorites. Hannah Kaur, who started off horribly, something like 2 for about 36, and then got going in the Texas Tech game. She is hitting second now. She's hitting 317. She is doing it in the field. She's doing it on the, at the plate. Yeah, there's the catch she made against Rutgers this weekend, and she threw. That was on Saturday, and then on Sunday she threw a batter out, tried to tag up on like a mid-length fly ball to the outfield, and she just threw a strike to the plate. The Rutgers coach, who I don't know if she's from New Jersey, but she fits that New Jersey attitude. She came out of that dugout 3 different times over the weekend to hello? She came out of the dugout like 3 different times over the weekend to just let the umps have it. And she challenged that one, I think she was challenging that Jesse blocked the plate. And they show the replay, and Jesse's leg is on the other side of the plate. She just got thrown out, and she came out of the dugout to yell some more about that. So anyway, she's finally turning into the player that Ravel thought she could be when she started off the year, like hitting her first and second, and she just couldn't. And I thought that was like a little too much pressure to put on her right away. Well, no pressure. The pressure's not bothering her anymore. She is getting it done. Let's see, who else do I want to poke at? Ava Cusack's been kind of up and down. She's back over 300 now. She had a good weekend. She had a homer, 2 doubles, knocked in 5 runs, so she got it going against the Rutgers pitching. And then down, take a look on here's Nebraska's advantage over everybody else. Take a look at the pitching lines there. You have Jordy, who's 10-4. With a 1.55 ERA. She has struck out 139 batters and walked only 20 in 99 innings of work, and only given up 81 hits in those 99 innings. Batters are only hitting 214 against her. And then you have McGee there with that 2.47 ERA, but that's a little deceptive because she's still got her old problem. 17 innings, she's walked 12 and given up 14 hits. So it's a little better than she's been her first 3 seasons, but 1.667 is not a ratio that's going to get you a lot of innings. And she pitched and had trouble again against Creighton on Tuesday night, so she did not. I thought she might still get the start on Sunday, but they gave it to Hannah, but then Hannah got bopped around a little bit. You look at her, because she'll get starts against those lower-end teams, and is getting it done still. She has a 1.21 ERA overall. And then I saved her for last. Here's Alexis Jensen. Has only given up 81 hits in 94 innings. She has struck out 144 batters in those 94 innings, the freshman from Gretna, and only walked 19. And she has the 2.81 ERA, but her ratio is just barely over 1. Is Jordy's is just barely over 1, which is fine. It means you're barely averaging a base runner per inning. And her problem was there's the 16 home runs. 5 of those she gave up in the first weekend, and I think she was at 9 or 10 after about 3 weekends. So she's still, when you're a changeup pitcher, and she just has a devastating changeup. She'll throw like 63 to 65 miles an hour, and then drop that changeup in there at about 51 or 52, and it just breaks ankles and twists knees of them trying to stop their swing and wait for the ball. And she's got 15 wins. She is 15-2. She's getting a lot of starts, but then Jordy, she's become like the freshman savior. She's probably mentoring her a little, and Rhonda has her come in to save a lot of games for her, because she'll still get in trouble a little bit in the 6th or 7th. And here will come Jordy, and as part of that, she's got 9 saves now, which a couple weekends ago broke Rhonda's former school record of 7, I believe. So congrats on another record there. But anyway, yeah, just wanted to show you guys some of the stats, what's going on there. And let's see, anything we talked about?
Ow.
Stats, Jess, Rhonda's 1200th. Well, let's see. We are right past 45 minutes, and I think I have hit every point I want. And somebody obviously wants to play with their dog. So I think we should.
He needs to go out.
Oh, then even more importantly, it is time to wrap it up. So
Here comes Connor.
Yeah, it's like I've tried to wrap it up a little quickly tonight. Because she's tired, and actually it might be kind of funny for her to get peed on. Who's that? Who's that looking at me? Hello, buddy. Hello. What's up,
He's looking
Tatum?
at Connor.
No, he isn't. He's looking at me. Going for Connor. Daddy. All right. We're going to wrap it up then. Folks, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. We'll be back here next week after what's hopefully a sweep of the lousy cheese-eating Badgers. We don't need no stinking Badgers. So, Mylie, thanks for roughing it tonight. I do appreciate you. You have no idea. I love having you on here, and now apparently a new guest. For people might remember when I was dog sitting doing a Husker Happy Hour season before last, I think, and had the little mini Aussie Coco, who finally had enough of it and just came up and like stuck her face in my face because she just wasn't going to have it. So, good night, everybody. Mylie?
GBR.
GBR. Say it out. Don't abbreviate it this week. Let's hear it.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
All right.
Woof, woof, woof. All right. We will see you all next week. Thank you much. Go get that dog outside and pee up that dirt yard.
Okay.
See ya. Good night, everybody.